Hey guys, my name is Rob Noire, and welcome to a very special game from my childhood that I have wanted to do on the channel for a long time, but the game itself is so old that it's been extremely difficult to even get it to run on a computer. It's from, I do believe, 1999, and my laptop is from 2013, so it took some doing. But this is a game from my childhood that is one of the games that shaped my childhood, and it's probably one of my favorite computer games of all time. And it's called Dungeon Keeper 2, and it's just a treat to play. So we're gonna watch this cinematic, which I always really enjoyed, but this is not the gameplay, this is not what it looks like, this is just the setup. So that is the Horned Reaper. His name is Horny, because, of course, his name is Horny. And this is just some fucking nobody... Oh, that's a nobody knight. Going up against, literally, Satan incarnate. And that's the Wizard of Oz. I don't think they get names. Actually, no, they do. It's true. They all have individual names. I always thought this fight looked kind of pathetic, to be honest. It's kind of like when they play fight in movies and you can tell that it's like, oh, you know what I mean? Like that punch did not connect. That always felt like that to me. But man, I always loved this fucking game, and this opening cutscene is pretty fucking rad. Even with the intentional like frame drop there. Yeah, he got the first gem. Only the first one, though. So Dungeon Keeper 2. This is a sequel, obviously, but this would probably be my favorite one. I mean, well, there's only two main games, although they've done like some shitty mobile games and other stuff. But I definitely think I greatly prefer this one to the original, unlike a lot of people. So we're going to start up a campaign, and you're going to immediately see what the game is all about. See, are you going to tell me something here? There we go. So this is basically the tutorial level. So I already know how to play, but to do the campaign you have to do the tutorial level, like so many games. But it's short, and it does actually, like, you do actually get to play the game, you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh, I never noticed before, up in the top right corner there's actually a little camera letting you know that it's a cinematic. This game is basically a twist on the RTS real-time strategy genre. Okay, game, stop taking control of my mouse, please. It's a twist on the RTS genre. It's a similar game to, for example, Age of Empires or Civilization. Those were very popular around the time that I was playing this, except unlike all those games, in this one, you're actually playing the bad guy. You are... Well, you can probably tell from this fucking evil hand. It looks like a fucking witch's hand. You are what's called a keeper, a dungeon keeper. And you run a realm, and you have to build this underground fortress, more or less. Yes, I understand that there's gold there. I'm talking. Fuck it. I'll let you mine it out. You have to build an underground lair, a fortress, called a dungeon. Not really surprising, to be able to kill the heroes that normally would win in a game of this type. And that's the entire premise, is that you are the bad guy, and you're trying to kill the heroes. Now, there's a lot of different modes to this game, there's a lot of different stuff, but we're doing the main campaign. And so your main workers are these little guys. They're called imps, and they are what will dig for you. They will dig out all this wall. You just have to highlight it and tell them to go there, and then they will go and dig it out. That's their main function. They can also do a few other things. For example, these walls here. They can pretty much go up to the wall and start humping it, and eventually it'll get this red dot on it, which indicates the fact that you have claimed that wall. It's now fortified, like enemies can't dig through it very easily. They can, if they really try and they really want to, but it's a lot harder, and they will typically avoid that wall and try and find like some regular just dirt wall, because that takes 2 seconds to dig through, while this will take a long ass time. So these are your main workers, and they also claim this land. The red dot is you, and because this is the kind of game that it is, you can also abuse them and you can slap them.
Administer another right-click on
Yep.
creatures.
It will hurt them a little bit, but it also makes them work faster because they're like, oh fuck, he's beating me. It's that kind of game. And so you're essentially building this dungeon to kill and fight off the heroes, and the better of a dungeon that you build, the more creatures that will be attracted to it. And by better, it mostly has to do with the kind of rooms that you make, but also whether or not the rooms are large, whether or not you have money, a lot of different elements to it. But basically, you're filling the shoes of the bad guy. Okay, so first off, I gotta build a place for them to live. This is where they're gonna sleep. And it is going to be a little bit annoying probably for the first episode, which is why I'll kind of skip through a lot of this stuff because it's very tutorial. This is how you build something. And it's like, yeah, I know how to build stuff. Believe me, this is one of my favorite games of all time. Oh, wow, I never realized it stretches and unstretches the screen. Yeah, I know what I'm doing. And so this, what he's saying here, this is my life, the center of the dungeon. It has a life bar, and once it gets hit, it does not regenerate. So you want to protect the fuck out of this thing. So the next thing I gotta do is I gotta build a hatchery, which is where my creatures, when I actually have some, will go to eat. And speaking of, yeah, now I gotta dig to this. This is a portal where creatures will come through to enter into my service. And as you can see, when I hover over them, it has a name, it tells you the job, what it's doing, its efficiency, I just slapped it, so 90%, and whether or not it's happy. The imps, it never matters if they're happy because they can't leave. You can just make more no matter what anyways. But these guys, it will matter if they're happy.
On his own, he is a cowardly beast.
Yeah, it's a goblin. The weakest of the weak. Well, actually, not even the weakest of the weak, but not particularly strong. And so this rock around here, I cannot dig through. Like, there's nothing I can do to dig through that. That's how they kind of hedge in your dungeon, and like, this is your section of the world, the next level's in another section, more or less on the other side of this rock, or it's implied. But that's more or less how it works. You can't dig through this, although heroes can. And so I'm just really excited and happy to be sharing this game with you guys. It is literally one of my favorite games of all time. It is so much fun. Nowadays, the concept isn't like that unique or anything, because it's like, there have been games where you play the bad guy. Like, there are plenty of games where you play the bad guy. But back in the old days, back in my day, there were not. This was one of the few games where you actually got to play the evil guy and win. And it was fun, and it was funny and interesting. And it's the best game of this type that I have ever played. And I originally got the idea to play this game because I did a video not that long ago on my top 10 games of all time, and this game was on that list. I think I gave it the number 10 spot. Oh yeah, they dug through. Alright, so my goblins are going to kill the dwarf. The dwarf is like the hero version of the imp, except he can actually fight pretty well, while my imps are really not made for fighting. God, man, the AI, I will say, in this game is a little stupid. Like, the imps like to stop and just kind of look around like, what am I supposed to be doing? The goblins, everybody? Yeah. Yeah, and what he's saying right now is, you see that red circle above his head? That's his life bar, and also his level. Fuck, man, I forgot how, like, tutorial heavy this shit is, where he's like, you have done a thing. Don't forget that you have done a thing. But so, to make my top 10 best games of all time video, I had to go through and obviously play those games to get the footage. And I played this one, and I had so much fun that I had to fucking actually play it on the channel. And I think in here is actually a secret item, if I can get in there. Oh yeah, there it is. Raises all my minions by 1 experience level. And right now, there's no way for them to train up. They're always going to be level 1, so that's a very useful item to have. And as you play each level, you're getting scored, you're getting points for all the things you do. Finding all the magical items give you bonus points. And I've never done a playthrough where I found all of them in every world. There's just so many. There we go. Alright, so we gotta kill this bitch.
The feeble Lord Antonius
And you don't want to drop them directly on him because you notice that they were a bit stunned, so he could have just walked in and like shanked them all. But I do believe he's going to be taken out pretty easily because I've got 6 level 2 goblins. And he's like, what, level 1? I didn't even see.
Lord Antonius is fallen.
And now, if you remember in the opening cutscene, the wizard had that gem. He managed to hide or send away most of those gems, and we need them. So you kill the lords of the land, and you get the gem, and then this guy gets summoned to the location because you have the gem to pick it up and collect, basically. This guy, he's your friend. He's a little unreliable, but he's your friend. And now you get this super awkward cutscene where even back in the day, I thought this looked awkward as fuck. Where he picks up the gem and he's like, oh, it's floating in my hand. I gotta say, like, this is being run on like a newer PC, but it really does. The graphics look exactly how they used to look. Like, it really captures exactly. It runs the way it's supposed to. So it's supposed to look this bad or good. Whatever way you want to look at it. Oh, and for beating the level, I get a random-ass cutscene. She is a monster that you can get in the game. She's kind of one of the mascots. There's 2 mascots. There's basically her, which is called the Dark Mistress. And then there's Horny, the Horned Reaper. Oh, and there's actually like a high score list. I don't know if any of these are real people or if they're just like generated names, you know what I mean? Like the developers put in their names. I don't know. But now I've conquered this first world. I can go back if I feel like I can do a better job. But I didn't miss anything. I can't do any better than I did. So we're also going to do level 2 in this first episode, and that's going to be it. It's probably going to be a little bit of a longer episode. The future episodes will be much shorter, but just because there's so much tutorial shit and cutscenes and, you know. Now, this is Lord Darius.
Use the rooms you won from Smilesville to good employ, and you'll slay him.
Yeah. These early levels aren't that hard, although there are some towards the end of the game that are actually ridiculously tough. Like, I remember there were several that gave me a lot of trouble. Something else I will say that you should try and do if you ever play this game yourself is don't activate the portal until you are ready to have monsters come in, until all your rooms are set up the way you want them to be. Because if you don't set up all your rooms, then you're going to get the weak-ass creatures coming in, and you're not going to have room for the stronger ones, or they're going to, like, not come in. Like, you just try and get your dungeon set up as best you can before you start, like, bringing people in. So I always leave the portal towards the end to dig out, which can fuck me if the heroes manage to get in really early, which sometimes happens. But that's kind of the price I pay. Another pro tip for any of you guys who might want to try this game at home is the ideal size for a room is 5 by 5. You can make it work smaller than that, but you can never build a room smaller than 3 by 3 if you want to get any actual use or attract actual creatures because of it. So the ideal size is 5 by 5, although a lot of worlds, like, I can't build 5 by 5 down here. I can only do 4 by 5. So you can't always use that, but 5 by 5 is going to be your ideal size if possible. And so a good example of what I was talking about here is if you build just a little bit of a coop like this, you notice that nothing really seems to be happening. It will work as a room, but it's going to be much slower. But if you do 3 by 3, you actually have a hatchery in the middle. And then if you actually expand on that, this should give me 2, and then this should give me 4. Making 5 by 5. Oh, no, actually, it kind of forced that one in. But I could have 4 in here. And this is basically just going to kind of act like a double. So 5 by 5 is the perfect room size. I really put in an effort to make all my fucking dungeons 5 by 5, and it kind of gets frustrating when I'm not able to. Okay, and what I was talking about over here is you can see that there's water in here, which means if I actually build this room out... What are you talking about? Yeah, I know, you want me to clean the portal. If I actually build this room out so that you can enter the water, it's going to aggro some heroes, so I got to be careful about that shit. And so now I have a library, which is actually going to attract in warlocks who will study magic for me. Fuck, they broke in. Okay, imps, I need all of you to dig through and claim that portal, because they broke the fuck in. God damn it. I might actually even lose this. Just because I was talking when I was... Oh, no, you gotta claim it. Claim it, claim it. Oh my god, they don't want to claim it. Claim it!
Your dungeon heart is under attack.
I might lose. I might be completely fucked here, and I might have to reload. See, talking while I do it, not the best plan. Oh, fuck. If my imps would claim the portal, I would be fucking fine. No, claim it. Why won't you claim it? I might get lucky, and my imps might actually kill them. That's kind of, it's kind of asking a bit much, though. Because these guys are not made for fighting. It's worth mentioning, if I get below 4 imps, it actually force spawns one, so... Alright, imps, I'm gonna wait this out, because who knows, maybe you got my back. I was fucking around too much, I was talking, I was showing for the camera, it's my fault. The moment that your dungeon heart is being attacked, that's all they'll do. They won't claim anything for you. Even though you really need it done, they won't do it. Fuck. I fucked around too much. Oh, they actually killed one dwarf. Which means they're making they killed 2 dwarves. Maybe I'm alright. This is a horrible start to the game. Fuck, it's gonna be a little hard to dialogue in these early levels. But if you guys can take out those dwarves, I think they get it actually. Yeah, they got it. The game, I mean, it's fucking... Are they all destroyed? Yeah, I mean, it's early enough in the game, right, that they didn't fucking go too hardcore on you. But I did lose health. Because I was fucking talking. Man, that was bad. That was bad. Don't think I usually play like that. It's because I was talking and trying to set things up to show for the camera. So I have the library, which will get me warlocks. I have a training room. Oh, there's a warlock, actually. Yeah, exactly. So he's going to be able to level up my magic, and I'm going to learn these 2 spells, which can actually be upgraded after learning them to cost less or do more damage. And then I have this training room in which every creature other than the imps can actually train in and raise their level. And this training room will attract salamanders. I do believe that it will get salamanders as well, not just goblins. Although you might need lava as well as a training room to attract in the salamanders. I'm not sure, it's been so long. Fuck, I love this game though, man. It feels great to be back. And so I can mine these out here, but I can't actually collect any of that gold once it drops to the ground because I cannot attach my land to this area, which is out in the water. I think if I mine out all the gold, though, it triggers the Lord. He gets triggered and he'll come out and try and fight me. And as you can see, this guy is training up, which it does cost me money, but he can get to level 4 off of a training room like this. And I was hoping I'd get some goblins, but it looks like I'm mostly just getting warlocks because of my banging ass library. They're not the best fighters, but I mean, it's better than nothing for sure. Ah, there we go. I learned to spell. I can now create imps. So obviously that's really useful. And after they like refine the spell, when I make an imp, it's already at level 4. And something cool I wanted to point out is in the lair, I only have warlocks right now, but warlocks, their like lair, their home is just a chair that they sit in, and every different creature has a different lair thing that they have. Like I think a goblin just has like a heap of shit. Like vampires, which you get later in the game there, they sleep in coffins. It's just really unique, this game, and it's really imaginative. Like they did a lot with what they had. Yeah, all this gold here is forever out of my reach because I don't have the ability to build a bridge and claim the land yet. That comes later. Oh, and now they research Thunderbolt, so I can cast Thunderbolt on some bitches. So I need to tunnel north. No, you don't need to reinforce that. I need to tunnel north to get to the Lord, but I also want to get to the magic item, which I do believe is north, but I'm just going to tunnel out all this other area in the off chance that maybe there was a magic item hidden in there. Yeah, now you see how this spell is gold? They upgraded it. So now if I generate an imp, which I'll do, why not? See, he spawns at level 4. So he's much better than the shitty level 1 imps. So you always want them to upgrade that shit, although it takes time and you don't always have tons of time, of course. So yeah, it looks like there's no magic items. So I'm going to have to tunnel. I'm going to have my imps go claiming shit right away. Because if I kill the Lord before I get the magic item, I don't get as many points. Alright guys, let's go. And I've got 8 warlocks. That's a lot of warlocks. Oh, those motherfuckers. They're pillaging my training room. Instead of just fucking making a run for it, they can destroy my walls and my shit. And that's what they were doing. Alright, imps, go. You gotta start claiming shit so I can get these magic items. Go. Come on. You guys have got it, man. I believe in you, imps. You gotta go fast. You gotta go really fast. And you see these white ticks? That's because that's Heroes Land. I think the magic item is all the way down there. And these guys are probably having one hell of a fucking battle right now. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Oh, and the warlocks can actually heal each other. That's pretty cool. Oh, and one of them is out, which means my imp has to take him back to his bed where he'll heal up. Although I guess there's still dwarves. Kill the dwarves. Fuck's sakes, man. Kill the dwarves. Yeah, warlocks really aren't the best at this. Yeah, and now I triggered him. I triggered him and his landing party.
Lord Darius has been round.
And the magic item gets dragged to my, it always gets dragged to the... Oh fuck, I think my warlock died because my imps didn't drag him back. Magic item always gets dragged back to your library, but you can access it under your spells. Mana boost, alright. And now I'm good, so just fuck this guy. I think I can actually just brute force him to death. Yeah, I did it. I did it. I didn't even need my minions. I'm that good.
A new species of creature.
Oh, and a goblin, I think, just came into my dungeon. Oh, he's still talking, even though I killed him. It's important that you get that speech finished, you know? Even though you're dead, you have to make sure we hear that speech. Oh, and now we get a special cutscene here. God, man, that's jarring to look at. Oof. Do they have spoons on their head?
I see you blasted Lord Darius.
There we go. I beat Sing Song.
A most entertaining way to claim a portal gem.
And I got one-on-one specials, yeah.
The screaming has been a tremendous joy to my ears.
And this narrator guy, I don't think he ever actually gets a name, but he's with you throughout the entire game, and he's with you in the first one. And he plays a really big part in the charm of this game, I guess. But yeah, guys, that's where we're ending this first episode. It was probably a little longer. The next ones will be a little bit short, but I had to get through like the really basic tutorial crap. But I absolutely love this game. It is a classic. Like, I really, really enjoy it, and I'm really looking forward to actually beating it on camera and getting to play through it again. Like, this is definitely a treat for me. Hopefully it's fun to watch. It gets a lot more interesting and a lot crazier later on in the game, and you can actually do a lot more stuff. But yeah, guys, that's where I'm ending this one. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks a lot for watching, and as always, I will see you in the next one. Hey guys, my name is Rob Noire, and today I have a video for you all about my picks for the top 10 greatest video games of all time. Now, this is kind of like a follow-up video, trying right now to reach what is called the inactive lava zone. And to do that, we have to